Hi everyone, I'm gonna work on the sound. Okay. Sound, here we are. Great. Okay, here we are. Can everybody hear me okay? Hi, Nick. Good. Uh, Hi, Messon. Hi, Tim. How's it going? Jack? Oh, you can hear it okay. Good. Thanks, Jack. Uh, yeah, we had my funny hat that I had the other day. Our thermostat for this part of the house was on the fritz. They came in, they fixed it, and everything's warm again. So thanks for asking. So anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today is certain things about our watches, and I was noticing that a lot of watch companies have some kind of hi Tom. Yeah. I was hey Inkart. Uh, we were I was looking at things that some watches are have certain kinds of certifications and different kinds of things to say that these are good watches. Now, we talked about um, how accurate a watch is, and that's certainly important. But there are a number of other things. I mean, there's some of the watches that I've worked on, I've tweaked out, and they're extremely accurate with cheap, basically knockoffs of ETA movements. Not even real ETA movements, but rather a Chinese clone. Hi, Rich Buddy. So anyway, so that's one of the things I think that's important. But so I've been looking for some more things, and I wanted to get some ideas from you guys. And for tomorrow's video, what I did is that I found another source, and I'll tell you about that tomorrow. In the meantime, though, I wanted to get some of your ideas. COSC certificate, Geneva Seal, Rolex logo. Oh, come on, Rolex logo is simply it's like the Patek Philippe. They used to have the Geneva Seal, and they said, well, we don't need the seal anymore, and they're probably right. They don't need the Geneva Seal, but they're oh, okay. Yeah. The All right, Mason, I get it now. The Hi, Neil. So anyway, for me, design is number one. Design makes or breaks a watch. Inkart, in what sense of design? There's movement design, there's dial design. There's something else too that we almost never talk about. Not only us, but in the watch business, and that is what I call information design. I used to really be into doing a lot of stuff with information design, and so I got interested in it. But uh, what it means is the ability to look at something and get information from it. I mean, if it's that's so the information that's coming out of it, whether it's a web page or whether it's a watch, what is that design that optimizes the information? Okay, case design, dial design, and uniqueness. Okay, yeah, sometimes uniqueness. Some of the watches I've seen, they are unique, but they're not very interesting. That's sort of hard to say, I guess. Uh, Let me give you some examples. I have one here. I think that is relatively unique. This is my Christian Vanderklaw Series 1974. Oh God, I was saying get the lights so you can see the thing. Well, anyway, what you can see about it is that it's got Roman numerals at the top half and nothing at the bottom half. And as far as telling the time, uh, you get used to it for some reason. I'm not sure how, but I got used to that pretty quickly. The thing that I have trouble getting used to is where you have a really busy dial and there's all this stuff going on, and you've got all kinds of sub dials. And the worst is, hi Charlie, is the way in which your information is, you can glance at something and get what you need to know. Because to me, that's important for glancing. Now, some models, one of the ones that we had up when we were looking at chronographs, I think, was that Singer Reimagined. Now, the Singer Reimagined was precisely for chronographs, and so at 6 o'clock you had the time. You had these two discs, and the bottom one was the hour, and the top one was the minute. And you could get used to that, but it is different. I'll be damned if I can ever read the GMT hand on a Rolex Batman. Okay, that would be one thing. It's difficult reading the hand. I mentioned that on a Rolex Explorer. They used to have one hand. It was very hard to read, and it sort of fit in with those big white meatballs that they use for indexes. And so they changed it, and now it was much easier to read. So dark, yeah, that's the second. Yeah, I know. See, now that's an issue with information design. Sometimes there's a conflict between information design and the creative design of the dial designer. Hairsprings and meatballs. Yeah. I don't have a Rolex, but they're those big circles that they have. And actually, people with Rolexes, you look at it. Hey, Lawrence, you were fine, thanks. You look at a Rolex quickly, and you can see it very easily. I mean, you have a black background, and you got those big white circles, polka dots, I'll call them. I guess meatballs doesn't sound right. Who has a white meatball? Anyway, so that information design isn't bad. What happened, though, they did recognize that people couldn't see the second date hand on the GMT hand, I'll call it, the GMT hand on the Explorer, and so they changed the way in which they were set up. One of my watches that I really like a lot, but is not too easy to read, is my what's it called? My Harry Winston by Retrograde, Premier by Retrograde. And it's got those two retrogrades on the side, with on the right side is the day of the week, and on the left side is the second. The second hand just goes whoop, boom, like that as a retrograde. And so you look at it, and then you got to find the other kinds of things. That's a little hard to read. My great big old Kalpa here is easy as pie to read. It's just I like the way that Parmigiani does the date. They have yesterday's, tomorrow dates, and then in the middle they have today's date. I like that. Okay, let's see. Hi, Daniel. Maybe a Rolex day date or a Lang. Yeah, boy, numbers. Give me names, Daniel. You guys, like, I know the numbers are more specific, but I'm okay with something more general, like a name. A day date, okay, that I know. Lang, Saxonia, or whatever you got. My Maurice Lacroix 5 hands is impossible. I love the 5 hands. I wanted to get a 5 hands. I can imagine they might be impossible. There's something about a 5-hand watch that I just think is really cool. Here's my Maurice Lacroix and all I care about is the movement, which I like. See, I got the light around here. I can't show you guys something. This is a really easy one to read, and it's that movement they have in there. My outlaw movement is pretty accurate. Okay, the movements are not optimized for big dials for modern case sizes, so small seconds. Small seconds I don't like at all. I just don't like them. On my new, my new for me, my new Lang and Hein Frederick II. It's the small seconds are big, and I like that. I mean, a nice big small seconds, or I like the central seconds. Central seconds on my Christian Vanderklaw, easy to read. Both of them are fine. The one on my Maurice Lacroix, I just happen to have these three out right now. The one on my Christian Vanderklaw is really strange. It looks like it's a retrograde seconds at the bottom, but it keeps on going down, and there's nothing there. Then it comes back into the indexes. JLC ultra thin small seconds. Hi, Wim. Hey, Paul. Evening. Skeleton dials, man. Paul. I agree. I just skeleton dials. I do like the skeleton dials if I just want to look at the movement. That's it. But I'd rather flip it over and see the movement on the back. Hey, Bruce, how's it going? Hey, Muhammad. On Louis Monet is a brand. That's a good question, Muhammad. Louis Monet to me is a brand that there's something wrong with it. I hate to say that. I love the looks of their watches, but there's something about them I don't quite trust. Hey there, hi there, crappy watches. Another brand I was looking at today is DeWitt, and DeWitt has some interesting dial designs. But then I started looking at the company, and there's an expression that their socks squeak. There's something wrong, and man, I tell you, that one is just not quite like. Does anybody do any of you guys own a DeWitt? They might be good watches, but the way they talk about things, I'm not too sure. How about the small seconds on your FP Journe Chronomat Souverain? Tim, I'm not crazy about it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's there. You know, the thing I like about it, Tim, about the small seconds on my Chronomat Souverain is that the way FP Journe sort of pushed over the 7 and the 8 and had to make them smaller to put them in there. That's a cool design element. And so I look at it as more of a design piece than anything else. What I do like a lot on the FP Journe Chronomat Souverain is the power reserve indicator. I don't know why they didn't put it on the blue, or they didn't put it on the Holland & Holland. Don't know why, but they didn't. But that's something I really like. Ever heard of Moulay Glashütte? Yeah, I have. In fact, when I was thinking of doing something on Moulay Glashütte and Stowa together, just for the heck of it. Let me see. A. Lang World watches, to me, might be the most amazing info watches ever. Okay. Yeah, I've got one. My Parmigiani Tonda Hemispheres is one that took me a while to get used to, but boy, I tell you, that thing has got great information, great design, but it's one of those things that you have to get used to. Okay. So anyway, that's sort of one of those things where the information design is something you have to get used to, but once you get used to them, they're pretty good design. I think this Singer Reimagines is the same way. Teutonia 3, yeah, Moulay up, one of my favorites. Oh, cool. So crappy. You've got the Teutonia 3. Can you something new? You just like everything about it, or just had hated myself after finding? No, no, no. Listen, Mohammed. FP Journe's quartz is not like any other quartz. It's a really cool idea. And it's first of all, it's a quartz movement that he made from scratch. And the thing that works with FP Journe's, how they call the Elegant, I think is the name of the watch. Actually, I've been thinking of getting one. The he's got a little thing in there that works like an automatic. It's got a little rotor, and when the rotor is still for half an hour, the timekeeping, the visual timekeeping stops. It sort of goes to sleep. This saves the battery, but in the background, he keeps the correct time. And so when you pick it up in the morning, and all of the wheels go around and it says, okay, it's time to get to work, and it goes back to the correct time. It is an amazing watch. It's not some off the shelf quartz that he decided to save a few bucks with. That watch is not like any other quartz around that I've seen. So don't that's one of the things with FP Journe's thing. They everything he does is really interesting. Hey Larry, what's that? Virtually all manufacturers has dabbled in quartz at some point. Yeah, of course they have. Good point, Larry. They have. But the thing is, Patek Philippe has quartz watches. Vacheron Constantin has quartz watches. All of them, all of the Holy Trinity have quartz. The thing of it is, I suppose, is that for if you're a mechanical watch collector, the quartz is sort of like, well, that's like something else. And so and by and large, most quartz watches they make up the great bulk of people with watches, and they're cheap and they're so I think that's the view of it, but not with a lot of these, not with FP Journe's. I'm sure that some of these other really good ones. Tim, Elegante equal true innovation. I think you're absolutely right on that one. By and large, if you want to watch with good information design and clarity, you need to be looking at tool watches. Oh, Mason, I hate to agree with you, but you got a very good point. Pilot and diver watches. Well, yeah, I don't know. To me, those too many of those are a cure for insomnia. I like different kinds of watches. I could look at this my Frederick III. I like the looks of that. It looks like it's really simple. I'm sorry, it's Frederick II. What am I thinking? Frederick, the difference between the two, Frederick III has Roman numerals, and this one has Arabic numbers, which, by and large, this has got the Roman numerals, and this is okay because it's so quirky to begin with. And it's like it says, okay, pay attention. This is a Christian Vanderkal. Pay attention to the moon phase. You can forget about the rest of it. Just look at the moon phase. And so we're going to have these other things. But the rest of the watch, it's really a beautiful design. So I like it a lot. Hey, Redskins, how's it going? Mike, what's up? Let me see. What do you think of PETA Oceana? Man, okay, it's easy to read, but I don't know the PETA Oceana. I don't know that brand. Rolex Oyster Quartz. You're right, Bruce. Yeah, Rolex does have something called Oyster Quartz. That's absolutely right. Enamel dial makes a good watch dial. Oh, yeah, Rich, that I agree with. The very first watch that I made myself, I got this an enamel dial, a German one. I ended up giving the watch to a friend, and God, I tell you, I got another one. I'm gonna have to work on it too. Do you get your thermostat fixed? Yeah, Bruce, that's what it was. It was just a thermostat. They came in here and fixed it, and that was that. And now we're nice and warm again. The weather, I guess we're having snow again on Monday, so we're all set for it. You know, I tell you that we have excellent insulation. The rest of the house, especially downstairs, had plenty of heat, and heat goes up, so it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like we had about, I don't know, 5 6 years ago in October. There was a big snowstorm, and the leaves were on the trees, and everything came down, and the power was off for a week. Wasn't like that. I got offered an Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot Caliber 114 at 30% MSP. Still thinking about it. You know, I tell you, is that now? Let me ask you, Wim, is the Oris, is that their in-house model? I did a thing on that, and I'm trying to remember the caliber for that. Hey, Jean, how you doing? Uh, I want to get a Volcane cricket. You know, crappy. So do I. I really like the Volcane cricket. My hearing's, I can't hear. I've never been able to hear very well. I got banged up when I was quite young and knocked out part of my hearing. So I've had a hearing loss, but I still want to get a Volcane, even though I couldn't hear it. Yeah, those are cool watches. You know, for those, you know, as a general collector too, the cool thing about Volcane, if they're still around, I think they're down to about 6 employees now. Volcane makes their own movements. So anyway, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, okay, Wim, that's their in-house. Keller is derivative of their in-house. That's right. Mason, that's it now. Now it's all coming back to me. Their 110 is their base, and then they had a 113, 114, so forth. Yeah. Okay, and the 114 is relatively narrow. Yeah, well, you know, I tell you, Crappy, everyone's got their own interest, but that's one of the ones that's sort of what I call a back of my mind watch. Something that, yeah, you know, if something came along, it'd be fun to have. Um, I've been thinking of sort of getting rid of some watches, though, just because I feel guilty about not wearing them. I mean, there's certain ones I like to wear a lot, and there are other ones I just don't quite get around to, and I wish I did. The 7001 cannot escape the 7001. Well, I like watches. What's that about the 7001? 7001 is sort of a cool movement. It's thin. It's a little small, but it's not a bad movement really. It's Pazu was the original guys who made it, and then it was taken over by ETA. Have you heard about Saponeva watch brand? Uh, yeah, Saponeva is this guy in Finland who makes these incredible watches. Hey, PB, how's it going? Boy, Haidang, VC Patrimony or PP Calatrava? That's a good question because they're very similar. Uh, it's to me, it's, you know, whatever one rocks your boat. They look a lot alike. I mean, there are a lot of watches that, in fact, I use the Calatrava as sort of a general description of that kind of dress watch. Um, yeah, yeah. Hey, selling your Rolex is not hard. Rich, you can. I want to. I want to. The only thing I have that I think I can afford to sell, I'd have to sell my Harbring to get a Harbring. I'd have to sell my Harbring Felix to get a Harbring Doppel Felix. So, okay, somebody's using the Calatrava quintessential dress watch. Yeah, Bruce, that's true, and so is the Patrimony. The Patrimony is sort of Vacheron Constantin's version. I was looking at one today with a $41,000 job, and what did it do? It had the coolest retrograde calendar at 12 o'clock, and then it had a moon phase down around 6 o'clock. This was a Patrimony design. Yeah, a Patrimony design. Beautiful watch. You know, Yeah, yeah, I like them both. I mean, Will Rogers. I haven't met a watch I don't like. 36 viewers. Oh, okay. uh Carlos, hi. How you what's up? Sound about some JLC movement. About winding sound? I don't know. My wife has hand wound reverso, and I just wind it right up. I like hand wound. My Calatrava is a hand wound. I like that a lot. Um, Sports divers, my grill is a pet. Okay. Yeah, Paul, come on now. Give me a name, not a number. I don't. I mean, I understand Gondolo and Calatrava. I don't understand all these numbers. Rotor spinning sound. A rotor spinning sound, huh? Is the watch okay, Carlos? I mean, is everything with it all right? Yeah. You know, the overseas whim, I had to trade mine in so I could get my wife one. I got her Beauvais with that partially, very partially. But you know, I always liked it. That's a cool watch. Okay, Calatrava. That's what I wanted to know. Thanks, Rich. Yeah, the Calatrava and the Patrimony. You know, there is an absolutely beautiful one by Gerard Perregaux on that same kind of line. Just gorgeous. The one I saw, one of the guys I know has one. It's a rose gold, just beautiful. Just a beautiful watch. Hey, 24 Arabia Fox. Need to replace two leather bands on APF, and they want $600 in addition. They cannot ship them unless I have a certificate to import alligator leather. Hey, Paul. Uh, you know, Arabia Felix, that's right. Let me see now. That's a problem. Okay. Uh, what I would suggest that you do is go to someone like, what are the thing? I think they're called ABP in Paris, and they're a band maker, and they make the most beautiful bands, really gorgeous bands, and shipping to the U.S. With a band, even if you've got sites, you're you got some issues. This is about the only kind of band that you can get shipped over into the U.S. At least that I know. Um, Here's the problem that I see with sites. I I really agree with everything Sites is doing. People out killing elephants for their tusk and skinning rare species and everything. I'm not for that either. But what's happened is that Sites has made it so that it's easy to smuggle them and hard to send them legally. What I would suggest is that they take something and like they put a little computer chip in the band. It's not hard to do. They do it in greeting cards, and all they got to do is just scan it, and if it's good, it's good. But they don't. They've got this impossible paperwork, and only certain people have it. And so instead of making it more guarded, it's the opposite. I had two watches shipped from overseas. In both cases, I said, send the watch and the buckle in one package, send the bands in another, because they always stop the bands, say, where are your Sites paper? Hey, Quantity. So it's one of those crazy things that you know it's 24 Arabia Felix. It's not the certificate of authenticity. It's more than that, and they could make it very, very simple by using a technology that's available. I've run into this all my life with different kinds of things. They decide, well, if we have all of this paperwork, it's going to be genuine. Hey, I got, I can take my laser printer and I can duplicate something that looked like anything you want. On the other hand, it would take me a little longer to do it, getting a chip and everything else and much more expensive. So, the Hermes watch bands are nice, but I got to tell you, take a look at the AB Paris watch bands. They're bespoke and they are expensive, but they're not $600. Boy, I think my computer just told me it's 4:00. Okay. Thomas Burnett, that's a good idea if you can get a jeweler to do it for you or somebody who has a Zeiss thing. But I guess they could do it. Oyster Band or Jubilee. I like I like the Jubilee. That's one of the few things I can say about Rolex. I don't dislike the other band, but I tell you, the best band I've ever had for a bracelet is this Parmigiani band. They make the best bands. I don't know if any of you guys have a one, but boy, they're good bands. I mean, bracelet bands. Anyway, is the Wrangler around? I don't know where the Wrangler is, Paul. Hey, Kaz, how's it going? You're at the Miami Watch Show. Hey, now listen, Kaz, you were supposed to be putting up a lot of wrist shots for us, and I haven't seen them, so you need to do that. Lots of them. Yeah, you're right, Eric. This is not a band. This is a bracelet. You're absolutely right. I do have a Parmigiani. It is difficult to find spare links to. Daniel, you're right. I mean, and for difficult, I mean impossible. Actually, it's not impossible. It is difficult, though. When I got mine, I got it with an extra band. Kaz, can I repeat what? Oh, get some wrist shots. Have you been sending wrist shots of the watches that you've been looking at the show? Anyhow, either that or I haven't been paying attention. All right. Well, listen. Tomorrow, what I did is that I put something together that we can. Anybody can take their watch and make it pull out all of the criteria that are used for a special to make a watch that is considered to be really excellent. And what I did, I said, I looked at these things, and there were 5 criteria, 3 of which were like paperwork criteria. Okay. But 2 of them were ones I thought, well, heck, we can do that. Just to give you an example, one of them was that the requirement of power reserve, that if your watch says that it lasts 42 hours before it'll run that long before it goes out, how hard is that to determine whether it really does or not? You wind your watch up and look at it 42 hours later. If it's stopped, it's not working right. If it is, then it is working right. So anyway, I have a whole bunch of those things, and I'll be talking about that tomorrow. But anyway, I want to thank all of you for coming, and hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, and I'm going to be trying to do this every Saturday. So hope to see you next Saturday too. Bye-bye.